Hi everyone and welcome back to my space. My name is Miss Orare and with me on set today is Olive Muteti, a lady who happens to wear a crown and walk with one for that matter. We will be talking about the issue of young mothers aged between 17 to 22, their story, their experience. Welcome to my space. Olive Muteti.
Yes, hi.
What is your favorite color and why?
Wow, favorite color.
Yes.
I am such a colorful person. I don't know what my favorite color is.
You could pinpoint one that you vibe with mostly?
Yellow. Don't say it's because I'm Wende.
What's not right?
No, yellow is such
Yeah.
a happy color. I'm such a happy soul. And I feel I really vibe with yellow. You see yellow and you want to be happy. Yellow is like mango of colors. You see there, you see a mango. Mango is such an exciting fruit. And so is the color
It's
yellow.
a campus speaking,
No,
you would understand. I'm
it's
not
just
being
a
tribalistic.
thing. It's just a thing about those two colors.
So yellow happens to be a favorite color. And what are your talents, your interests?
Talents.
Yeah, interests, skills.
Let's say interest. I'm an overall creative. I love creating when working with space, when working with fabric, just making crafts. Yeah, I'm that person who hoards tissue rolls because I think I'll one day paint them and turn them into something in the house.
I throw them immediately. I am done with them immediately. But
Yeah, DIY. I'm also okay to a great extent a people's person with balance.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love hosting. I love being around people, and I love trying out new experiences. If I had the money, you'd never see me again. I'd be traveling every state in this world.
And I think, Olive, you are one of the very few people who you have had the privilege to study what you love.
Yeah.
And tell us about that.
So I feel like one of the luckiest things about me is I have parents who are open to letting me try what I want to do.
Yeah.
So being a creative, I am lucky enough to be studying design in school. And yeah, over the 4 years I've been in school, I've been able to explore my creative side in different disciplines of design. And I'm so grateful I've had the chance to do that.
Okay, let's talk
Yeah.
about you as a designer and your journey in designing. So you joined campus.
Yeah.
You are in the University of Nairobi, which
Yes.
I was in as well, by the way.
Yeah.
First year, you join. What is your experience as a young designer? At first year?
As at first
Yes.
year.
Is it what you wanted to do? Was it is it reality versus what you see? Was
That's
it?
how I was headed.
Yeah.
Okay, I wouldn't say it's a case of ordering something on Jumia, but it's a case of okay, this is not what I saw on the Style Network.
Yeah.
Because I've always consumed so much style content from a young age. I watched every episode of Kimorali Simon's life. I've watched every season of The Face, every contest, designing contest. I've always watched that. So my idea of coming into design school is I'll have a project to spearhead, go wild with my concepts. But so far, yeah, probably it's something I'll do once I'm out in the field. But at the same time, it's also quite interesting because there are sides of design I wasn't exposed to, and you learn, you're like, oh, that goes for design. Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, it's true. It's true when you get into first year, you realize that you usually had such a narrow scope of things,
what you want to do.
things just open up. And you joined campus in 2016, right? So 2016, what was Olive up to as a first year who just came to Nairobi, the city? I need to make it clear that she's not a city girl, neither am I. So you've just joined the city. We have come to Nairobi. Wow. It's a big city. You have so many roads that you need to know which is Tomboya, which is not. Yeah. You're studying in a campus that is located in town.
CBD.
Yes. So how was it for you first year trying to find your footing?
It wasn't so much trying to find my footing.
Yeah.
I am these people who get into a new space and get acclimatized so fast you'd think I've always been there. But yeah, first year, first year was wild, for lack of a better term. There's an excitement to it.
Yeah, it's campus, it's
Yeah,
campus, the excitement.
I've been in all girls boarding schools since I was in class 7 to form 4. Catholic schools, to be precise. You know
They were
how
not
they
so
are.
bad.
Not so bad, but
But
you know
yeah,
how they
yeah.
are.
Uh-huh.
I need not explain. So yeah, coming into campus, it
Yeah.
was freedom.
At last.
The words of Serafina.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so it was quite kind of lost myself for a minute. It was too much. But there was also a side of I finally get to do what I've always wanted to do, which is modeling. In high school, I did try for the small pageants. I was Miss Straight Talk in Form 2, tried for Miss YCS. And now it was finally time to, finally do this modeling seriously.
Okay.
Yeah, so that was first year, testing the waters in modeling and getting used to Nairobi.
You mentioned something that I would want us now to expound on it a little bit. You say that in first year, in as much as you are still finding your passion, there's a part of you that felt lost. Talk about it. Is it the friends? Talk about the friends. What were you doing on a day-to-day basis at that time that
Okay.
you could say, I was lost there? I was having too much fun. What was it? Why would you say lost?
Okay. Day-to-day life, I was in school, but first year, most lecturers maybe aren't always in class.
Other units are so simple. Introduction to
Yeah,
communication skills, HIV. Yeah.
exactly.
To,
So then, a while before I joined campus, I got into some. Okay, let's call it
it's
what
a
it
safe
was.
space.
Let's call it what it was. It was
Yeah.
a relationship.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so I get into a relationship before I joined campus. The guy's already in campus. So coming into campus,
What was the age difference in terms of years?
say 4, 5.
Okay. You were actually daring, yeah? Because mostly we have been told first year's data first year. So if it's 4-5, you're
No,
actually daring.
but then
Yeah.
again, I'm a firstborn. I don't know whether it happens with all firstborns, but for me,
Yeah.
I tend to befriend even my lady friends. I'm always the youngest in the clique most of the times.
Okay.
I tend to befriend older
The older
ladies.
people,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
For
it
wisdom
happens.
and all that, yeah.
Yeah, somehow you wish you had an older sibling, so maybe that's what.
Yeah.
But yeah, so back to first year. Yeah,
Back to
I
the relationship.
back to the relationship.
Yeah.
I often say I had no business being there, and that's the lost I'm talking about. Because in hindsight, I'm like, hey, baby girl, I'd love to have a sitting with 18-year-old Olive. Like, sis, what are we going through? What was bothering us? Because no, for a minute there we
Yeah.
did lose ourselves in the hype and all that. The relationship wasn't serving me. It just wasn't right for me.
And
And
I
yeah,
think the truth is, most of us, especially as young chicks, we tend to be in relationships where yenyewe, honestly, this relationship is going nowhere. You
yeah.
see no future, but you just decide to be there.
Premium tier subscription.
So how long was this relationship? Months, a year plus?
A year plus. Kuna wengine wetu hatujai celebrate anniversaries. Tuambie a year plus.
We'll get
There,
there.
there.
So it was a few months.
Well, yeah, the end came quite fast.
Yeah, than you anticipated.
Yeah.
So you wake up one morning and you're paged. What is the first thing that goes through your mind?
Can never be me. Aye? Me. That was my mood for the longest time. I think I was in denial for quite a while. Because in my imagination, you see like the Doctor Strange thinks of all possible endings in Endgame. Yeah, in my imagination of all possible outcomes of my life, that couldn't be me. It didn't make sense how I, Olive, was expectant in first year.
And at that time, you were 18, right? You had
Yeah,
not
yeah, I was 18.
turned 19. So for 3-4 months, how long was it before you actually now accepted that now I need to do my first clinic visit and now own up my situation?
My first clinic visit was at 17 weeks. That's, yeah, almost 4 months.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's when I was like, you know what? It looks like I'm really going to do this. So
And at this point, you're walking through it alone.
Yeah, at this point, I'm doing it solo.
Have you told your folks about it?
No,
What held you?
I'm a firstborn. I come from a very Christian background. My parents, okay, yeah,
Your dad is a lecturer.
yeah, my dad is a lecturer. My mom too is a lecturer.
I didn't know that.
They are leaders in church. Everyone knows those tall chicks are daughters to who.
Yeah.
So it was like, this is a shame on me. This is a shame on my parents.
You considered your friends, your classmates?
Not so much. At that point, I could
Yeah.
care less about them. It's about those, at that point, it hits you, those who you really care about, those whose opinion really matter to you. And at that point, my biggest story was my family.
If you were to give your emotions names, was it anger? Was it sadness? What type of emotions were you going through at that time?
Confusion and anger, but at myself. I was so pissed at myself.
Yeah.
I couldn't get how I allowed that to happen. So even later, the hardest thing was forgiving myself.
And is it something that you have finished doing?
It's
Is
something
it?
I've achieved.
So it takes time to actually do
It's
it.
a lot of work.
Okay, fine. So you decide that now you have to, okay,
Yeah.
6 months into it, you're 6 months long into the pregnancy. At 6 months, how was your life?
At least by then, I had told my parents. And we had already gone through the motions with them. They were not supportive. And now, yeah, I was coming to the end of the semester, going for the long holidays. So I was in a better place
Yeah.
with my family and also with myself, because I had come to terms with the reality as was. Yeah, I was now at a place where now I'm really becoming a mom.
It is happening.
It's happening.
So you needed your peace.
Yeah.
So you go home, the
I-
9 months now. Where were you?
So I stayed in Nairobi for a while. I was
Yeah.
living with my aunt. Then later on, I was like, let me just go home. Yeah, so I go home constantly in the house. For someone like me siki gunanja, but I also love the outdoors.
Yeah.
But yeah, I am like on house arrest, self-imposed. But I was in such a happy space, being around my family, people who care, and yeah, like walking the journey with me. For a minute there, I was getting back my sanity, because the first month I lost it.
Yeah.
I did lose it. I was gone.
So you get your child somewhere around the
September.
first September.
Yeah, September.
Which day?
15th September 2017.
Okay, we will note the dates. It's noted. It's noted. So September, October, November. Tell us about your headspace at that time.
There is accepting, and then there's reality setting in. It's one thing to accept and all you can see is your huge belly.
Yeah.
But now there's a human being who doesn't let you sleep at night, who looks like you. My daughter really looks like me. So
Yeah,
it's
she
like,
does.
this is really happening.
Yeah.
This is me. Oh, and then there's getting used to it. It was quite a journey. It was honestly so confusing for me, because okay, I thought I was ready, but turns out I was not ready. Now it's now accepting this visible reality. The
Yeah.
other one was just preparing myself in the head, but now this is it. This is actually happening. Then also September, another semester is starting in school.
This is at 2017.
Yeah.
Yes.
My classmates are going back to school. They are joining second year. I am at home,
Yeah.
nursing a kid.
Alone.
My friends are going on with life. And then, first year, you're getting used to life. Second year, there's a sense of people getting their life in order. It always happens.
Second year.
To an extent, there's a sense of people not exactly getting their life in order, but you can feel people making moves to grow themselves.
And I think at second year, you're getting the gist of whatever career you're taking.
Exactly.
So it's like things are crystallizing at that time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's happening with my friends. Then also there's modeling. Shelf life for modeling is quite short. So
For a lot of
yeah,
things.
2017
Even
started.
the camera.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Uh-huh.
2017 started with me knowing this year I had already applied for agencies in South Africa. I knew like this year I'm going big as a model. I discover I'm pregnant, so that's
She's
not
really tall, by
happening.
the way. Uh-huh.
So that's not happening. Then my model friends are growing in the industry. I'm seeing photos of my friends getting signed and all that. So I'm in a place where now the resentment towards myself comes back. Because, yeah, I'm like, Olive, you're supposed to be here, and it's your fault you're not there right now.
Yeah.
So that was another weird space.
Now that you've mentioned resentment, I want to ask you, how was it for you when you looked at yourself in the mirror? What, when you actually look at yourself, you know, when you look at yourself, you're like, this pimple, you're misplaced, you know.
Yeah.
So when you looked at yourself in the mirror, did you have that relationship? What was the relationship between the Olive reflection on the mirror and you? What type of talk was going on at that time?
I think for me, it was because there was a voice to it.
You are a model, for Pete's sake.
There was a voice to it.
Yeah.
So it was so hard for me to even accept myself in that state.
Yeah.
Because one of the hurtful statements I had when I was expectant was, what's wrong with you? Why would you keep a child and jeopardize your modeling career? Like, your modeling is starting to pick up. Have you seen mom's modeling? Like, why would you do that?
Yeah.
So even at that point, seeing my friends, the hardest bit was the thought of hearing the voice, feeling like it's a, I told you so, Olive. I told you so. Now you're stuck. I
Yeah.
told you so.
You had choices. You decided not to
Yeah, I
take them.
told
Yeah.
you so. So
True. Yeah.
getting rid of that voice and getting rid of the person behind the voice was the hardest thing for me. So it did affect my self-image and najipenda. Oh my God, najipenda. So getting to a point where someone made me hate myself, I am never getting back there.
So Olive, you are in a space where people, ama the world, is making you feel a certain way about the choice of keeping your pregnancy. So I want to know first, what were the things that really guided you into making the decision of, in as much as the world is where it is now, when you talk about contraception and birth control, I will decide to keep mine. What are the things that guided that decision?
Um, I won't say it was an immediate. It wasn't like the first thing I thought to do.
Yeah.
I did consider otherwise, but over time, it's. I just came to a point where I'm doing this for myself. I felt like I'd, it felt far-fetched, but I felt that it will bring me more peace going that way than otherwise. Then also I was at a point
What were
where
the possible dangers that you foresaw if you decided to take the otherwise route?
my own sanity, the guilt. I feel like I've had this statement made before.
Yeah.
For big decisions, it's best if you pre-decide what you are to do in certain situations.
Okay.
So it's always been something I always said.
So it is a script that you had replayed in your head. So when it came to be reality,
Exactly.
you had already been in that
Yeah,
space before.
yeah, and
So you
not
knew.
like
Yeah.
thought of it like as a possibility. It'll go to this small talk when you're talking and you're like, I can't, like me I
But for you,
can't.
it was, I would if I found myself there.
No, I always said
Yeah.
I wouldn't. So even when I was considering, it was going against everything that I am.
I feel like, first of all, the viewer who has watched that would,
Oh,
doesn't
also,
understand.
yeah,
Yeah.
like initially, like
Yeah.
before I was even in that position, like
Yeah.
when I'm talking to my friends, I was always like, I can never do that. But when I found out I was pregnant at 18, I definitely did consider.
Yeah, true. Yeah, true.
Yeah, like at that point, your morality, your decisions, your sanity, you are knowing so much, it fades.
It all goes
It
through the window.
goes.
So we will hold here for part one, but as we conclude part one, there are a few things that I want Olive to highlight as young moms, the young ladies who get pregnant between 17, 18, 19, who, are still kids in strict sense because they're
Yeah.
still in school. The issues that they go through, the concrete issues, mental health, when it comes to maternal health care. Can you talk about, just highlight them for us as we
Okay.
conclude part one?
Okay. The key issues, I think,
Yeah.
is mostly the lack of a support system. At that point, you lose touch with friends. You cannot exactly go direct to family. Hey, your 18-year-old daughter is expectant. So there is that bit of you're lost and you lack anyone really
Yeah.
to walk the journey with you. There's also your mental health. You lose it. You
Yeah.
do lose your sanity to a great extent accessing healthcare, because you have to attend antenatal. Of course, you have a few. Your expenses as a young mom are different from your expenses as just you.
True.
And if you do not have a support system, that is definitely a struggle.
That is where family actually really
Yeah.
comes in.
Yeah, then there's also just accepting, coming to terms on your own. That's a whole other journey. And there's too much hustle that involves being a young mom, depending on the circumstances that led to you being there. Sometimes it's assault, sometimes it's a relationship that goes sour. Now you're no longer in it.
And
You're
sometimes
walking the
it's
journey
peer
solo.
pressure.
Yeah.
You were just trying.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
true.
also forgiving yourself, especially for me, was the hardest bit. Like, because it's the one thing that goes even after you accept you being a mom, after you walk that journey, get a support system, deliver your kid, forgiving yourself and coming back to who you are. That has been a struggle, and it's an issue.
Thank you for watching part one. I can't wait to hear the rest of the story and maybe why she has that crowd. See you next time. My name is Miss Orane. Subscribe. Bye.